I was 10 years old the day I watched my mother die, crawled out from under my bed, stole evidence that would destroy a United States congressman, and knocked on the door of the man who used to kill people for him. That was 3 months ago. Now I'm sitting in a federal courtroom, wearing a dress that doesn't fit right, about to watch the most powerful politician in Michigan get sentenced to 45 years in prison. The man next to me, the retired assassin who became my guardian, squeezes my hand once. A silent reminder, you survived. You won. But to understand how we got here, I need to take you back to the beginning. Back to the morning that smelled like cinnamon rolls and ended with everything I loved turning to ash. The apartment smelled like cinnamon rolls that morning. Mama had promised they'd celebrate. 10 years old deserved something special, she'd said. Zara pressed her nose against the kitchen window, watching pigeons fight over a discarded sandwich 3 stories below. The Detroit skyline stretched gray and endless beyond the projects, towers of glass reflecting a pale November sun. Baby girl, come help me with the frosting. Mama's voice carried that lightness it only had on good days. Days when the fear didn't live in her eyes. Days when she didn't check the locks 3 times or peer through the peephole before opening the door. Zara turned from the window, her braids swinging, and saw her mother actually smiling. A real smile, not the tight one she'd worn for months. Are we safe now? Zara asked, the question tumbling out before she could stop it. The smile flickered. Mama knelt down, her hands, scarred from years of cleaning office buildings, cupping Zara's face. We're gonna be safe, I promise. I did something. Something that's gonna make sure bad people can't hurt anyone anymore. Zara wanted to ask what that meant, but Mama's phone buzzed. Once, twice, 3 times. The fear came flooding back into her eyes, drowning the smile. Go to your room, Zara. Now, under the bed like we practiced. But Mama. Now. Zara ran. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she dropped to her knees and crawled beneath her twin bed. The springs sagged above her head. Through the crack under her door, she could see her mother moving fast, pulling something from the kitchen drawer. Something small and silver that caught the light. A flash drive. Mama pressed it into her pocket, then grabbed her phone. Her fingers flew across the screen. Zara could hear her mother's breathing, quick and shallow, the way it sounded after climbing all 6 flights when the elevator broke. The front door exploded inward. Wood splintered. Mama screamed. Zara clamped both hands over her mouth to trap her own scream inside. Heavy footsteps. Men's voices, calm and professional. The kind of calm that made everything worse. Where is it, Keisha? I don't know what you're talking about. Mama's voice shook but stayed defiant. The flash drive. The one you stole from Congressman Vaughn's office. The one with all those interesting files about campaign contributions, construction contracts, dead witnesses. Ring any bells? I cleaned his office. That's all. I don't know about any. The sound of a fist hitting flesh. Mama cried out. Zara bit down on her palm until she tasted blood. Don't move. Don't breathe. Don't let them know you're here. Last chance. Where's the drive? Go to hell. The gunshot cracked through the apartment like thunder. Zara's world ended in that sound. She felt it in her chest, in her bones, in every cell of her body. The silence that followed was worse. She waited for Mama to say something, to call her name, to tell her it was okay to come out now. Footsteps moved through the apartment. Drawers opened and slammed. Furniture scraped across the floor. The men were searching, systematic and thorough. They came into her room. Zara held her breath as boots appeared inches from her face. One of them knelt down, looked under the bed. Their eyes met. He was young, maybe 25, with a thin scar across his cheek. For a heartbeat, they stared at each other. Zara saw something flicker in his expression, hesitation, maybe regret. Then he stood up. Nothing in here, he called out. You sure? Yeah, just a kid's room, empty. The boots walked away. Zara heard them talking in the living room, heard words like cleaners, and make it look like a break-in. The front door closed. She waited, counted to 100 like Mama taught her for when she got scared. Then she crawled out from under the bed. Her Her legs barely held her. She moved to the doorway on feet that didn't feel like her own. From there, she could see into the living room. See Mama on the floor, one hand stretched out toward Zara's room, eyes open but not seeing anything anymore. The cinnamon rolls were burning. Zara walked forward, fell to her knees beside her mother. "Mama!" Her voice came out small and broken. "Mama, please." But Mama didn't answer, would never answer again. Something vibrated against Zara's knee, Mama's phone still in her pocket. With shaking hands, Zara pulled it free. The screen showed a message, sent just before the men came, uploaded to secure cloud. "Password is your birthday backwards. If anything happens to me, get this to Detective Morrison. He's the only one we can trust. Trust no police except him." Below that was an address, 1847 Woodward Avenue, and a name, Marcus Webb. Zara looked at her mother's other pocket. The flash drive was still there, they hadn't found it. She took it, held it in her palm. It was warm from Mama's body. This was what got Mama killed. This was what the bad men wanted. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Someone must have heard the gunshot and called the police. But Mama's message said trust no one except Detective Morrison. What if the wrong cops came? What if they worked for the congressman too? Zara shoved the flash drive into her sock, grabbed her backpack, and ran. She took the fire escape, her sneakers silent on the metal stairs. 3 floors down, she heard voices in the alley below. Men in suits talking into phones, not regular cops, something else. She went back up, crossed to the next building's fire escape, and kept moving. The city swallowed her up, one small black girl among millions of people, invisible in her grief. The address on Mama's phone was in Midtown, miles away. Zara had $43 in her backpack, birthday money from her grandmother. She caught a bus, sat in the back with her hood up, and watched Detroit slide past the grimy windows. Who was Marcus Webb? Why would Mama tell her to go there? The building at 1847 Woodward was a 3-story brownstone squeezed between a laundromat and a boarded-up pharmacy. Paint peeled from the trim. The front steps sagged, but the lock on the front door looked new, expensive. Zara pressed the buzzer for apartment 2B. Nothing. She pressed it again, held it down. "Come on, please be home. Please don't let this be a mistake." The speaker crackled. "Wrong address." A man's voice, rough as gravel. "Mr. Webb, my mama," she said. Zara's voice broke. She was 10 years old, standing on a stranger's doorstep, and her mama was dead. The enormity of it crashed over her. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "Kid, I don't know who." Her name was Keisha Holloway. She cleaned Congressman Vaughn's office. "She sent me here. They killed her. Please." Silence stretched out. Then the door buzzed open. ACT2, refusing the call, meeting the mentor. Zara climbed stairs that creaked under her weight. The second-floor hallway smelled like old coffee and cigarettes. Apartment 2B's door stood ajar. She pushed it open slowly. The apartment was sparse. A couch, a table, a kitchen visible through an open doorway. Books lined one wall, thousands of them, organized with military precision. In the center of the room stood a man who looked like he'd been carved from stone. Tall, black, maybe 50 years old, with close-cropped gray hair and eyes that had seen too much. He wore a faded army t-shirt and jeans. His hands were scarred. Inside, close the door, lock it. He didn't move toward her, didn't offer comfort, just stood there assessing her with those dead eyes. Zara did as she was told. Her hands shook as she turned the deadbolt. "Your mother, Keisha, how did she die?" "They shot her," the words scraped out. "Men came, they wanted a flash drive, she wouldn't tell them where it was." "And you have it." Not a question, Zara nodded. Marcus Webb closed his eyes for a moment, and something that might have been pain crossed his face. Christ, she actually did it. After all these years, she finally got proof. "You knew my mama." "Not well. She cleaned the congressman's office for 6 years. I used to work for the congressman. Different work. I saw her around." He moved to the window, peered through the blinds at the street below. She was smart, careful, she must have known what she was looking for. "What's on the flash drive?" Marcus turned to look at her. "Everything. Evidence of murder, bribery, election fraud, money laundering. Congressman Richard Vaughn has been running organized crime through his political office for 15 years. He's got cops on his payroll, judges, FBI agents. Your mother found proof of all of it. You worked for him, Zara said slowly. Doing what? The silence that followed answered her question. Zara took a step back. This man was like the ones who killed Mama, a killer. I'm not going to hurt you, Marcus said, his voice flat. I stopped doing that work 3 years ago. That's why I'm still alive. I got out before I knew too much, kept my mouth shut, disappeared. But your mother, he shook his head. She had a conscience. I had orders to protect the congressman's secrets. She had a duty to expose them. We're opposites. Then why did she send me here? Because despite everything I've done, I never hurt anyone who didn't deserve it. No women, no children, never. That was my one rule. Vaughn knew it. It's probably why he let me walk away. I wasn't a threat to anyone but his enemies. Marcus moved to the kitchen, poured water from the tap into a glass, brought it to her. Drink. Zara took it but didn't drink. I need to get this to Detective Morrison. Mama said he's the only cop we can trust. David Morrison? Yeah, he's solid. Been trying to build a case against Vaughn for years, never could get enough evidence. This flash drive would do it. Marcus crossed his arms. But Morrison's in the hospital. Heart attack 2 days ago. Convenient timing. What do? We don't do anything. You go stay with family while I figure out how to get that drive to the FBI without getting you killed. I don't have family. Grandma died last year. It was just me and Mama. Marcus looked at her for a long time. She could see him thinking, calculating, probably trying to find a way to get rid of her. But there was no family to send her to. No safe place. Vaughn's men would be looking for her. If she went into the system, foster care, child services, they'd find her within hours. How did you find this address? He asked finally. Mama texted it before they came. Show me the phone. Zara pulled it out. Marcus took it, powered it down, removed the battery and SIM card. They can track these, probably already pinged the last location. He looked at her with something that might have been respect. Smart kid, most people wouldn't think to run. They'd wait for the police, trust the system. You knew better. Mama taught me. She said not everyone wearing a badge is good. She said sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you are the ones you need to run from. Your mother was a wise woman. Marcus moved to a closet, pulled out a burner phone. Stay here. Don't answer the door. Don't turn on any lights after dark. I'm going to make some calls, see what we're dealing with. Where are you going? To find out who's looking for you and how badly they want you dead. The door closed behind him. Zara stood in the center of the apartment, clutching her backpack, the weight of the flash drive pressing against her ankle. Outside, the city hummed with life. People going about their days, buying groceries, going to work, picking kids up from school. Normal things. The world kept turning even though Mama was gone. She sank onto the couch and finally let herself cry. ACT 2 continues, training and revelation. Marcus returned 3 hours later carrying Chinese takeout and looking like he'd aged a decade. He set the food on the table and gestured for Zara to eat. Vaughn's got everyone looking for you. Police, private security, even called in favors with some street gangs. There's a picture of you circulating, your school photo from this year. They're calling it an abduction. Saying armed men took you from your apartment after killing your mother. Playing the concerned politician worried about a missing child. Zara pushed lo mein around with chopsticks, but that's a lie. Vaughn's entire life is a lie. One more doesn't matter to him. Marcus sat down across from her. I talked to a friend who still has connections. Morrison's under guard at the hospital, Vaughn's men, not real security. They're waiting for him to wake up, probably to make sure he doesn't say anything inconvenient before he has another heart attack. We can't get to him. Then who do we go to? FBI has a field office here, but Vaughn's got people inside. Not everyone, but enough that we can't just walk in and hand over the drive. We need someone specific, someone clean. He pulled out the burner phone, showed her a name and photo. Special Agent Sarah Chen. She's been investigating political corruption, completely independent. If we can get to her, get her the evidence. Vaughn's people will try to stop us. Yeah, they will. Marcus leaned back, studied her. You understand what that means. They'll kill me to get to you. They'll kill anyone who helps us. This isn't a game. I know. Zara met his eyes. They killed my mama. I watched her die. I know exactly what they'll do. Something shifted in Marcus's expression. The stone cracked just slightly. How old are you? 10. Today's my birthday. He looked away. Christ. They sat in silence. The Chinese food grew cold. Finally, Marcus spoke. I have a friend in Toledo, runs a safe house for women and kids escaping bad situations. I can get you there tonight. You'll be safe. I'll handle getting the drive to Agent Chen. No. Kid. My name is Zara. Zara, listen to me. This isn't your fight. Yes, it is. She pulled the flash drive from her sock, held it up. Mama died for this. She died because she wanted to stop bad people from hurting others. If I run away, if I hide, then she died for nothing. I have to see this through. You're 10 years old. I'm the only witness. I saw the men who killed her. I can identify them, and I'm the one Mama trusted with this. She closed her fist around the drive. You said you wanted out of the life you had before. You said you stopped killing people. Here's your chance to do something good, to protect someone instead of hurt them. Isn't that worth something? Marcus stared at her. She watched him wrestle with it, the instinct to stay hidden, stay safe, versus whatever shred of conscience remained after years of doing terrible things. This was the transitional moment, she realized. The and then one day that changed everything. If we do this, he said slowly, you follow my orders. No questions, no arguments. I say run, you run. I say hide, you hide. Understood. Understood. And if something happens to me, if they get to me, you take that flash drive and you run like hell. Find Agent Chen on your own. Promise me. I promise. Marcus nodded. Then we move tomorrow. Tonight you sleep. I'll teach you some things in the morning. Basic stuff, how to spot a tail, how to disappear in a crowd, what to do if someone grabs you. Skills you shouldn't need at your age but do now. That night, Zara lay on Marcus's couch under a blanket that smelled like laundry detergent and old cigarette smoke. Through the walls, she could hear neighbors arguing, a TV playing too loud, the constant heartbeat of the city. Somewhere out there, Mama's body was in a morgue. Somewhere, men were hunting for her. And somewhere, Congressman Vaughn was sleeping peacefully, thinking he'd gotten away with murder. Not for long, Mama. I promise. Not for long. ACT2 continues. The road of trials. Morning came gray and cold. Marcus woke her at 6, handed her toast and orange juice, and immediately started teaching. First lesson, awareness. Most people walk around half asleep. They stare at their phones, listen to music, exist in their own bubbles. That gets you killed. You need to see everything. Who's walking behind you? Who's sitting in that parked car? Who looked at you twice? He took her to the window. Watch the street. Tell me what you see. Zara looked down at Woodward Avenue. Cars, people walking. Specifics. The blue sedan, how long has it been parked there? She didn't know, hadn't noticed it yesterday. I'm not sure. There's your first mistake. 2 men inside, driver and passenger, been sitting there for 3 hours. See how the driver keeps checking his mirror. He's watching this building. Marcus moved away from the window. Vaughn's people. They're not sure you're here, but they're covering possibilities. Zara's heart hammered. What do we do? We leave, but not through the front door. He led her to a back room she hadn't seen before. Behind a bookshelf was a door, and behind that door was a passage that connected to the building next door. Fire escape on the other side. We go down, come out on the side street, gone before they know we moved. You planned for this. I planned for everything. Spent 3 years building escape routes, fake identities, cash stashes. You don't walk away from Congressman Vaughn without a backup plan. He handed her a jacket. Put this on, hood up. We're leaving in 5 minutes. They moved through the secret passage like ghosts. The building next door was abandoned, full of broken plaster and exposed wiring. Marcus navigated it like he'd memorized every step. They emerged onto a side street 3 blocks from his apartment, and he immediately flagged down a cab. "Belle Isle," he told the driver. Zara looked at him questioningly. He shook his head slightly, "Not now." The cab driver, an elderly Sikh man with kind eyes, pulled into traffic. Marcus kept watching out the back window. "Anyone following?" the driver asked. "Not yet, take the long way, and thanks Singh. You helped my daughter when those men were threatening her. I don't forget." The driver met Zara's eyes in the rearview mirror. "You're safe with Marcus. He may be a hard man, but he's a good one." They drove for 40 minutes, taking random turns, doubling back, making it impossible for anyone to follow. Finally, they reached Belle Isle, a park on an island in the Detroit River. Marcus paid Singh, and they walked toward the water. "Why here?" Zara asked. "Open space, can see anyone coming, and we're meeting someone." He checked his watch. "Should be here in 10 minutes. A woman appeared, jogging along the river path. She was Asian, mid-30s, wearing FBI windbreaker and running shoes. She slowed as she approached, stretching like she'd stopped for a break. "Marcus Webb," she said quietly. "Last person I expected to hear from." "Agent Chen, thanks for coming. You said you had information about Vaughn. Better be good. I'm risking my career meeting you." Marcus gestured to Zara. "This is Keisha Holloway's daughter. Keisha was the cleaning woman who—" "I know who Keisha was. She was my informant." Chen's expression softened as she looked at Zara. "I heard what happened. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Your mother was brave." "She had evidence," Zara said. "On a flash drive, everything about Congressman Vaughn." Chen's eyes widened. She got it after all this time. Took her 6 years of careful copying piece by piece. Files, recordings, financial documents. Marcus glanced around, still clear. "We have it, but Vaughn's got people everywhere. We need protection, a safe way to transfer it." "Come to the federal building. I'll have a team." "No, Vaughn has FBI agents on his payroll. We walk into that building, we're dead." Chen frowned. "Then what do you suggest?" "Tomorrow, 8 p.m., Eastern Market. Public place, lots of witnesses. You bring a laptop, we'll transfer everything there. You verify it's real, then we get the kid to safety while you start making arrests." "That's risky." "Everything's risky now, but it's our best shot." Chen looked at Zara again. "You trust him?" It was a strange question. Trust the man who used to kill people for the same politician who had Mama murdered. Trust someone who'd spent years doing terrible things. But Zara thought about how Marcus could have turned her away, could have taken the flash drive and left her to fend for herself. Instead, he'd protected her, taught her, put himself in danger. "Yes," she said, "I trust him." "Okay, tomorrow 8 p.m. Eastern Market, don't be late." Chen jogged away, disappearing into the park. Marcus and Zara walked back toward the parking lot. "One more day," he said, "then this is over." But Zara had learned enough to know that nothing was ever really over. Even if they gave Agent Chen the evidence, even if Vaughn went to prison, the world would still be full of bad people doing bad things. That was the reality Mama had taught her. The question wasn't whether evil existed, it always would. The question was whether good people would stand up to it. They spent the rest of the day moving between safe houses, friends of Marcus who owed him favors, people who asked no questions and offered food, shelter, and silence. By nightfall, they were in a motel room in Dearborn, paid for in cash under a fake name. Zara sat on one of the twin beds, exhausted. Marcus sat by the window, never quite relaxing, always watching. "Why did you really quit?" she asked. 3 years ago, you said you got out. Why?" Marcus was quiet for a long time. "Vaughn ordered me to kill a witness. Woman who'd seen him take a bribe. She had a daughter, maybe 7 years old. I watched them for a week, learning their patterns, finding the right moment. And one day the daughter looked at me, just looked like she knew, like she could see exactly what I was." He rubbed his face. "I couldn't do it, couldn't pull the trigger, so I warned the woman instead, told her to run, to hide. Then I disappeared." "Did she get away?" "I don't know, I hope so, but I know I couldn't keep doing what I was doing, couldn't keep being that person." He looked at her. Your mother saw something in me too. She could have reported me to the police, but she didn't. She just looked at me one day and said, "You don't have to be what they made you." Like it was that simple. Maybe it is. Maybe, he pulled the curtain closed. Get some sleep, tomorrow's going to be hard. Zara lay down but didn't close her eyes. Tomorrow, they'd hand over the evidence. Tomorrow, Vaughn would start falling. Tomorrow, maybe Mama's death would mean something. But first, they had to survive the night. ACT3, the ordeal. The knock came at 3 a.m. Zara jerked awake. Marcus was already moving, gun in his hand. He put a finger to his lips, silence. Another knock, harder this time. Housekeeping. Wrong, housekeeping didn't come at 3 in the morning. Marcus moved to the bathroom window, the one facing the alley. He pushed it open, gestured for Zara to come. The door exploded inward. 3 men rushed in, guns drawn. Marcus fired twice precise, controlled, dropping 2 of them. The third dove behind the bed. Marcus grabbed Zara, practically threw her through the bathroom window. She landed in a dumpster, trash breaking her fall. Marcus followed, pulling the window shut behind him. They ran. Gunshots cracked in the night. Bullets sparked off brick walls. Marcus pulled her through the alley into a side street between buildings. Zara's lungs burned. Her legs felt like they'd give out. But she kept running because stopping meant dying. A car screeched around the corner, blocking their path. 2 more men got out. Marcus changed direction, pulling her into a 24-hour laundromat. An elderly woman washing clothes at 3 a.m. looked up, startled. "Back door," Marcus demanded. She pointed. They ran through, emerged into another alley. Behind them, shouting, more gunshots. The city was a maze and they were rats running from cats. "Where are we going?" Zara gasped. "Anywhere but here." They zigzagged through Dearborn, putting distance between themselves and the motel. Finally, Marcus pulled her into an all-night diner. They slid into a booth, breathing hard. A waitress approached, saw their expressions, wisely said nothing and just poured coffee. "They found us," Zara said. "Yeah, someone talked or they got lucky, doesn't matter, we're burned." Marcus checked his phone, the burner untraceable. "We need to move up the timeline, I'm calling Chen." He stepped outside to make the call. Zara sat alone in the booth, watching the diner's other occupants. A truck driver eating eggs, a nurse still in scrubs, probably finishing a shift. Normal people living normal lives. She wanted that. Wanted to go back to a world where her biggest worry was a math test or whether the cute boy in class liked her. But that world was gone. Mama was gone. And all that remained was this, running, hiding, fighting to expose the truth. Marcus returned. "Chen says come now. She's at the FBI office. She'll meet us in the parking garage. Secure location. She'll have backup." "Do we trust that?" He looked at her with something like pride. "You're learning. No, we don't completely trust it, but we're out of options. We go, we hand over the drive, and we hope Chen is as clean as she seems." They left the diner as dawn broke over Detroit. The city transformed in the early light, golden and almost beautiful. Singh appeared in his cab. Marcus must have called him. The old man drove them through morning traffic to downtown, to the federal building's underground garage. Agent Chen waited by a black SUV, laptop in hand. She looked tired and tense. "You're early." "Plans changed. Someone found us." Marcus kept his hand near his gun. "Let's do this fast." Zara pulled out the flash drive. Her hand shook. This was it. Everything Mama died for, all the evidence. She held it out to Chen. The agent took it, plugged it into her laptop. Files appeared on the screen, thousands of them. Financial records, audio recordings, video files. Chen's eyes widened as she scrolled. My God, this is everything. Murders, bribes, campaign finance, fraud, connections to organized crime. We've got him. We've actually got him. "Then make the arrests," Marcus said. "Today, now, before Vaughn realizes what's happening." "I'll need to brief my director, get warrants." "You'll need to move fast. He's hunting a 10-year-old girl. He's already killed her mother. He's not going to stop." Chen nodded. "We'll bring him in today, I promise. but you two need to stay in protective custody. Come upstairs, Will." A gunshot rang out. Chen dropped. The laptop clattered to the concrete. Blood spread from her shoulder. Zara screamed. Marcus spun, gun out. A man emerged from between cars, young, with a scar on his cheek. The same man who'd looked under Zara's bed, who'd lied to his partners about seeing her. "Sorry," the man said, but he didn't sound sorry. He sounded tired. "Vaughn owns my family's debt. I don't do this, he destroys us. Just give me the girl." "Not happening." Marcus stepped in front of Zara. "Then I kill you first." They faced each other across 15 feet of concrete. The hitman and the retired assassin. Opposites but also mirrors. Both trapped by the same corrupt system. Both trying to survive. "What's your name?" Marcus asked. "Does it matter?" "Yeah, it does. If I have to kill you, I want to know your name." Jason Rivers." "I used to be you, Jason. I did Vaughn's dirty work. Told myself I didn't have a choice, but we always have a choice. Maybe not a good one, but a choice." Jason's gun didn't waver. "Your choice is simple. Girl lives, you die. You both live, I die, and my whole family pays. Those are my options." "There's a third option. You help us. Turn evidence, testify against Vaughn. The FBI protects you and your family. Vaughn goes to prison, his debts mean nothing." "You think it's that easy?" "No, it's hard as hell, but it's possible." Marcus glanced at Chen, still breathing, reaching for her phone. "Agents calling for backup. You've got maybe 2 minutes to decide who you want to be." Zara watched Jason's face. She saw the same struggle Marcus had described in himself. The weight of bad choices, the desire to escape, the fear of what standing up might cost. She thought about Mama, about how she'd spent 6 years collecting evidence because she believed the truth mattered, because she believed people could change. "My mama was good," Zara said, her voice small but steady. "She cleaned toilets and floors and never complained. She raised me by herself and made sure I did my homework and ate vegetables. She wasn't special or important, but she knew right from wrong. And when she had a chance to stop bad people, she took it, even though it was scary, even though it got her killed." She stepped out from behind Marcus. "You let me go once, when you looked under my bed. You could have told them I was there, but you didn't. That means you're not all bad. That means you can choose to be good." Jason's gun lowered slightly. "Kid, it's not that simple." "Yes, it is. Help us or kill us. Those are your choices. Who do you want to be?" Sirens wailed outside the garage. Jason looked at his gun, at Marcus, at Zara. The moment stretched out, balanced on a knife's edge. Then he lowered his weapon completely. "I'm sorry about your mom," he said. "I didn't pull the trigger, but I was there. I should have stopped it." "You can stop it from happening to anyone else." FBI agents poured into the garage, guns drawn. Jason set his weapon on the ground, raised his hands. "I want to make a deal," he called out. "I'll testify against Congressman Vaughn." Agent Chen was on her feet despite her wound, shouting orders. Paramedics arrived. The laptop with its precious evidence was secured. And through it all, Marcus kept Zara close, one hand on her shoulder, protecting her until the very end. ACT 3, Resolution. 3 months later, Zara sat in a courtroom watching Congressman Richard Vaughn be sentenced to 45 years in federal prison. The flash drive's evidence, combined with Jason Rivers's testimony, had unraveled the congressman's entire criminal empire. Arrests spread like wildfire, cops, judges, criminals, politicians. The structure Vaughn had built over 15 years collapsed in weeks. Mama's murder trial came separately. Jason had turned state's witness for that too, identifying the trigger man and the others involved. They'd all pled guilty to avoid the death penalty. Life in prison instead. Not enough, but something. Zara lived with Marcus now. The courts had approved the emergency guardianship, then made it permanent. It was strange living with a former assassin. He didn't know how to braid hair or help with homework. He taught her self-defense instead of bedtime stories, but he was there. He showed up. He'd kept his promise to protect her. And slowly, carefully, he was learning to be something other than what Vaughn had made him. Just like Mama said he could. After the sentencing, they walked out of the courthouse into February sunlight. Detroit was still gray, still cold, but spring was coming. Reporters shouted questions. Zara ignored them. She told her story enough times, to the FBI, to prosecutors, to grand juries. She was tired of talking about the worst day of her life. Agent Chen met them on the courthouse steps. Her arm was still in a sling but healing well. "You did good, kid. Your mom would be proud." "Thanks." Zara managed a small smile. "Are you still investigating?" "Always. Vaughn's people led us to 3 other corrupt politicians, 2 judges, and a whole network of dirty cops. Your mother's evidence is still paying dividends." Chen looked at Marcus. "And you? How's retirement treating you?" "Loud," Marcus said dryly. 10-year-olds ask a lot of questions." "I'm 11 now," Zara corrected. "Had a birthday last month." "Right, 11-year-olds ask even more questions." Chen laughed. "Well, you've both earned some peace. Try to stay out of trouble." She shook their hands and walked away, back to the work of cleaning up the mess Vaughn had left behind. Marcus and Zara walked to Singh's cab. He'd insisted on driving them today, called it an honor. As they drove through the city, Zara pressed her face to the window and watched Detroit pass by. The same streets where Mama used to work. The same buildings, same people, but everything was different now. "Do you think it matters?" she asked quietly. "What we did, Vaughn's gone, but there are probably other people like him, other bad guys doing bad things." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "Yeah, there are. There always will be. But your mother proved something important, that ordinary people can fight back, that a cleaning woman with courage can take down a powerful man. That matters. It changes how people see the world." "Is that enough?" "I don't know, maybe not, but it's something." He looked at her. "You want to know what I think? I think your mother didn't save the world. She saved the corner of it she could reach. And that's all any of us can do." Zara thought about that. Mama couldn't stop all crime or corruption, but she'd stopped Vaughn. She'd saved the people he would have hurt in the future. And maybe that was the point. You didn't have to save everyone to matter. You just had to save someone. "I want to be like her," Zara said. "When I grow up, I want to help people." "You already do. You helped Jason choose a different path. You helped me find a reason to keep going." Marcus's voice was rough. "Your mother gave me her trust when I didn't deserve it. You gave me a purpose when I'd lost mine. That's a gift I can never repay." "You don't have to repay it. You just have to keep being good." "I'm trying, kid. Every day I'm trying." They pulled up to their brownstone on Woodward Avenue. Home. The word still felt strange, but it was getting easier. Inside, Marcus had dinner waiting. He'd learned to cook in the past 3 months, badly but enthusiastically. They ate spaghetti that was slightly burned and garlic bread that was mostly butter, and it tasted better than any meal Zara could remember. After dinner, she went to her room, the one Marcus had converted from his office, painted purple because she'd mentioned once that it was her favorite color. Her school books waited on the desk. She was catching up on the education she'd missed, working with tutors who came to the house. Marcus didn't trust regular school yet, not with Vaughn's former associates still scattered throughout the city. Maybe next year. She pulled out her journal, another gift from Marcus, who said writing helped him process the nightmares. On the first page, she'd taped a photo of Mama, one of the few she had. Mama smiled in the picture, really smiled from one of the good days. Zara began to write. "Dear Mama, today they sentenced Congressman Vaughn, 45 years. He's 63, so probably he'll die in prison. Agent Chen says there might be appeals, but she thinks the sentence will stick. All because of what you did. All because you were brave. I miss you every day. Sometimes I wake up and forget you're gone, and then I remember and it hurts all over again. Marcus says that's normal. He says grief is like that. It comes in waves, and you just have to learn to swim. I'm doing okay. Marcus takes care of me. He's not like a regular dad, but he's good. He makes sure I eat vegetables and do my homework and practice the self-defense moves he teaches me. He has nightmares sometimes, and I hear him walking around at night, but he's getting better. We're both getting better. Jason Rivers is in witness protection now with his family. He writes to me sometimes, saying sorry. I wrote back once and told him that you would have forgiven him, so I do too. I don't know if that's true, but I think maybe it is. You always said people deserve a chance to be better. I'm going to make you proud, Mama. I'm going to grow up and help people like Agent Chen does. I'm going to fight for the truth like you did. I'm going to be brave. I love you. I'll always love you. Zara. She closed the journal and looked at Mama's photo. The smile looked back at her, frozen in time, forever caught in a moment of happiness. Zara touched the picture gently. Good night, Mama. A knock on her door. Marcus stood there, awkward as always when it came to emotional moments. You okay? Yeah, just writing. Good, that's good. He hesitated. I know I'm not your father. Can't replace him or your mother, but I want you to know you're safe here. As long as I'm alive, no one's going to hurt you. That's a promise. I know, Zara smiled at him. You're my family now, that's enough. Something shifted in Marcus's expression. Relief, gratitude, maybe even happiness. Get some sleep. School tomorrow. Your tutor's coming at 9. Marcus. Yeah. Thank you for everything, for saving me. He shook his head. You saved me, kid. I was dead inside when you knocked on my door, just going through the motions, waiting for the past to catch up with me. You gave me a reason to be better, to try. He smiled, a rare sight. So thank you. He closed the door. Zara turned off her light and lay in bed, listening to the city sounds outside. Somewhere out there, people were suffering. Somewhere, bad things were happening. But somewhere, good people were fighting back. People like Mama. People like Marcus, learning to use his skills for protection instead of destruction. People like Agent Chen, chasing justice. People like Jason Rivers, choosing redemption. And someday, people like her. Zara closed her eyes and dreamed of a future where she was grown, where she wore a badge like Chen, or carried a camera like a journalist, or stood in a courtroom defending the innocent. Where she used Mama's sacrifice to make the world a little bit better, one corner at a time. Epilogue, 7 years later. The University of Michigan accepted her with a full scholarship. Criminal justice major, pre-law track. Marcus cried when she got the letter, actual tears, something she'd never seen from him before. He tried to hide it, but she saw. She was 18 now, about to leave for college. The brownstone on Woodward Avenue had been her home for 7 years. She'd grown up here, learned here, healed here, and now it was time to move forward. On her last night before leaving, Marcus took her to Belle Isle. They walked along the Detroit River as the sun set, painting the sky orange and purple. The same place where they'd met Agent Chen all those years ago, the place where everything changed. Nervous? Marcus asked. Terrified, Zara admitted. What if I'm not smart enough? What if I can't handle it? You survived Congressman Vaughn's hit squad at age 10. You can handle college. He stopped walking, looked at her seriously. But here's what I really want to tell you. You don't owe anyone anything. Not me, not your mother's memory, not the world. If you get there and decide you want to study art or music or anything else, that's fine. You get to choose your own path. I know what I want, Zara said firmly. I want to be a prosecutor, like the ones who put Vaughn away. I want to give other families justice like we got. Marcus nodded slowly. Then you'll be the best damn prosecutor Michigan has ever seen. But Zara, remember what we learned. The world isn't divided into good people and bad people. It's full of people making choices, some good, some bad. Everyone deserves a chance at redemption, even people like I used to be. Especially people like you used to be, Zara corrected. You proved people can change. That's the most important lesson. They walked back to the car. Singh was waiting, he always was whenever they needed him. The old man had become part of their strange little family. He drove them home through familiar streets and Zara memorized it all. The skyline, the neighborhoods, the places where Mama had lived and worked and died. Tomorrow she'd leave for Ann Arbor. She'd start a new chapter, but Detroit would always be home, and Marcus would always be family. That night, she wrote one last entry in her journal before packing it. Dear Mama, I'm going to college tomorrow. Can you believe it? Your baby girl going to study law at U of M. I'm going to learn everything about the justice system, how it works, how it fails, how to make it better. Marcus is doing well. He volunteers at a youth center now, teaching self-defense to kids from rough neighborhoods, giving them the skills to protect themselves, but also showing them they have choices. Some of those kids look at him like he's a hero. It's weird and wonderful. Agent Chen got promoted. She runs the entire corruption unit now. She still sends me birthday cards. Jason Rivers writes to me too, from wherever witness protection has him. He got his GED and started college himself, taking business classes, trying to build a legitimate life. I think about that flash drive sometimes, the one you died protecting. It's in an FBI evidence locker now, but its legacy lives on. Dozens of arrests, hundreds of lives saved, all because you had the courage to stand up. I don't know if I'll ever be as brave as you, but I'm going to try. I'm going to fight for people who can't fight for themselves. I'm going to make sure your sacrifice meant something. I miss you every single day, but I'm not just sad anymore. I'm grateful. Grateful for the 10 years we had. Grateful for the lessons you taught me. Grateful that your courage changed the world. Watch over me, Mama. I'm about to start the biggest adventure of my life. I love you forever. Zara. She closed the journal and placed it in her suitcase, right next to the framed photo of Mama. Tomorrow was the beginning of something new, but she carried the past with her, not as a burden, but as a foundation. Everything she'd learned, everything she'd survived, everything Mama had fought for. Marcus knocked on her door one last time. You sure you've got everything? Yes, I'm ready. No, you're not. Nobody's ever ready, but you'll figure it out. You always do. He handed her something, a small box wrapped simply. Open it. Inside was a necklace with a small pendant, a tiny flash drive made of silver. Symbolic, beautiful, and powerful. So you remember, Marcus said, what your mother fought for, what you survived, and what you're going to become. Zara put it on. The pendant rested against her heart, a reminder of everything that had brought her to this moment. The pain, the loss, the fight, the redemption. Thank you, she whispered. No, thank you, for giving me a reason to be better, for showing me that it's never too late to choose a different path. Marcus pulled her into a hug, still awkward after all these years, but genuine. Your mother would be so proud of you, and so am I. They stood there for a moment, the former assassin and the girl he'd saved, bound together by tragedy and choice and the slow, difficult work of healing. Two people who'd found family in the ruins of their old lives. Two people who'd learned that redemption wasn't a destination, but a daily choice. Tomorrow, Zara would leave for college. She'd study hard, fight for justice, and build a life Mama would be proud of. But tonight, she was home. She was safe. She was loved. And that was enough.